welcome everyone. As everyone knows, this is the introduction to course creation with the specific subtopic of marketing, advertising, and social media. So what I'm going to do to start this class, let's do a little bit of a recap on last class just for a moment so everyone has fresh in their minds what we talked about last time. And then I hope to hear your guys' advertisements that you created if you want to share it. So last week was what I was calling the real fuel that fuels all the rest of this journey. The very basic structure of that last class was just to create an advertisement. And so that was the homework. And the advertisement had three main components. It was the description, which we got into that, relaxed state, or whatever's most conducive for you to really get your, mind clear and the creative juices flowing. And then the second part was all the little details like the when and where and price and contact information, whatever kind of stuff you think is needed in order for people to find you and have all the information. And then the third thing was the image, an image that goes along well with the description. So in essence, that was the class last week and the fuel that begins to move all the rest of these classes on. So I'm wondering, I think most of you did. I would love to know who did and where you guys are at with this advertisement creation thing. And if you want to share it, that would be great too.
So first I had to tell you, your voice pacing is so calming, and that's what I have to bring in to my students because there's so much coming at them and it's like fire hosing them.
Mm-hmm.
And we just have to be calm. And so here's what I shared.
Okay, cool.
I hope you guys like it. We can edit it because it hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen right after this. So we have plenty of time.
Sounds great.
So, yeah, and I just, I want it to be a reunion. I sent it to some Highland friends, Kurt, and then like Layla and Aaron and Jace and some of my favorite people. And so I just want to have a reunion and celebrate Kurt and hold him high because he's the founder of something very special.
I agree.
Wow, thank you. Okay, and it looks great too. The link looks great.
Hey, Stephanie, I've got a question for you. I'm looking at the advertisement that you made here, the listing here,
Okay.
and just so everyone knows, she already created an account with coachwithphd.com, which is the site that you guys have been coming to come to this class, and the site that we've been talking about doing the online teaching on, using that platform. And so she already created an account, and that's why she has this link available to where we can see this awesome advertisement she made. So I just want to kind of run through it with you and talk about it. I love the image; it's very attractive. Is that we'll just take it apart a little bit, piece by piece. Is that something that you took a picture of?
Yes.
That's cool. And so I have another question. This whole listing in general, is this something that is this just an example? Is this kind of just an experiment, or is this something that you're...
So this is a way to share Kurt. So I'm just celebrating Kurt, and I'm trying to get in connecting the experts in a joyful, healthy way.
And at the same time, I'd imagine kind of experiment with this platform and get familiar with it.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, I love it. I think you did a great job. It looks really good.
Thank you.
And you got the contact information on there, and you got the times, the detail information that we talked about, and the description itself. Cool.
So thanks to you, Brian, you helped me launch my, the name of what I've been holding as a container all these years, the Joyful Education Network. I would have never come up with that without this.
Cool. Love your enthusiasm, Stephanie. All right.
Thank you.
We will check out what Carolyn has here. Carolyn, do you want to read yours out loud? I see you posted it here. And Stephanie, can you end your screen presenting? Marvelous.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Are you stressed? Are you ready to get rid of it? Check out the link below for class times to learn how to relax and let go of stress. In the class, I cover a variety of relaxation techniques. Each session is 30 minutes long and may cover multiple related exercises at one time. Each class is $30 and there are 8 classes.
And then the website. Is that a real website?
It's under construction.
Cool. I love the description, by the way.
And that's what I was asking you about earlier.
Right. With the different payment structure options, Square or other things you were talking about.
Yeah, my boyfriend is helping me set it up, and I don't know.
Well, let me ask you: are you wanting to
have what the capabilities are?
Are you wanting to do it in person? Is that why you're? Are you wanting to do it in person?
What?
Are you wanting to teach these relaxation techniques in person or online? What is your plan?
For right now, I'm going to be doing online only, and depending on how things work over the next year, I may stick with that.
Okay.
What I have found is I have the most control over things with the online.
Sure, totally. And just in case, go ahead.
You know, like Joey and some of the others that I know of teach classes in their own space, but for safety reasons, I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no clue if I was to try to get in contact with some of the yoga studios around Springfield, what the restrictions are, what their rates are,
right.
Blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Complications.
Here's the good news, Carolyn, is that with this Coach with PhD platform, you really don't have to worry about any of that payment stuff. It's all integrated and built into the platform. So you don't have to try to figure out how to receive payment from people. As soon as you sign up for the Coach with PhD account, then automatically the payment platform is set up. So kind of like here with, I'm going to share my entire screen. I'm going to present Stephanie's listing here that we just looked at. So at the bottom here, you'll see tickets. Do you see that, Carolyn?
Yeah, barely.
And you already went through this whole process. Whenever you click tickets, then you get to go through and through the checkout system. So
right.
That's automatically built in the whole payment process. Does that is that kind of what you're looking for by talking about Square and these other payment systems?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's so many unknowns. Like I was looking at the link you shared on Facebook for this class, and I saw that you had pretty much the whole series on there that I could have done everything at once if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of flexibility that I want to be able to offer.
Cool. Absolutely. That's the kind of flexibility that the Coach with PhD platform provides. So you won't have to do anything besides sign up for an account, and we're gonna. That's what this class today is going to be more about. So I think we're gonna. It's like you guys created the advertisement now, and it's like the brain's trying to figure out what are the next steps. And so that's exactly where we're at today, and that's exactly what we'll be going into. So as far as the homework, though, as far as what you did, Carolyn, I love your description.
I was not able to share the picture that went along with it, but
right. That was going to be my other question. But you do have that picture. You sent that to me. You showed it to me. I love it. I think it's all great.
Yeah.
And you got your details in there too. Cool. Wonderful. I love it, Carolyn. And I think we're going to answer all the rest of your questions coming up later today. And then lastly, Irina. I think Oop, you're on mute. Do you mind reading yours?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. I created a private Facebook group, because I came from very strict Christian family, so not all of them accept what I do. So I keep it private.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's says reconnective healing is return to wholeness. It is life progress at the forefront of its field. It's a new level of healing that scientists and researchers feel we can access for the very first time. Reconnective healing completely transcends traditional energy healing technique use. It allows us to let go of the concept, approach, and even the need for technique itself, while including the benefits of all known energy healing methods. It's neither a therapy nor a treatment.
Love it.
Yeah, it's not focused on symptoms, but it's much, much more.
Cool. That was good. Did you happen to find a picture that you really liked that would marry with those words?
Yeah, I put it on site, but I couldn't figure it out how to send it
That's
here.
cool. That's cool.
Okay.
As long as you got one. That's wonderful. And then as far as like, when you're actually creating the event itself, you'll have things like the date that the course is going to be, how long, the time, that kind of stuff, which is a natural thing that...
No, it's vegan, so it's more like a treatment, so I need to figure it out, the scheduling,
Gotcha.
Way how to schedule appointments and go that way.
Right.
So
Okay.
I need help to figure it out what scheduling platform to use.
You know, Kurt has had some scheduling platforms that he showed me before. Kurt, do you have anything to say on that?
I was just about to chime in.
Sweet.
So I used to run several dental offices with my wife, and so online scheduling is something that we were really ahead of the curve on. But there's a really great platform where most of the tools on it are free. It's called Setmore. I'll type it in the chat here. It's setmore.com. Ours are in the other room still eating, so that's the only reason you can't hear ours.
Cool.
Yeah. But setmore.com is a really, I'm pointing at my screen as if you guys know what I'm pointing at. It probably just looks at me sticking my finger in your face. But setmore.com's got a lot of great tools. It integrates real easy into a Facebook page or group. And it also integrates real easily into websites. So I have nothing to do with that company at all, but it is a great way to run a calendar that people can do even instant video sessions out of. I think that might be a paid for upgrade, but the upgrades are like, they're all under $20. So I mean, per month. So they're very reasonable upgrades for a software solution
For our school, we use You Can Book Me, and so You Can Book Me integrates with your Google Calendar, and then you can just push out Google Meet with that, and it nicely does a good job with Gmail.
Do you know if You Can Book Me costs anything?
No, it's free.
And then the one Kurt's talking about is free too, and also you can upgrade certain things, right, Kurt?
Right, and it'll collect payments as well.
Oh.
The Setmore will. So you can set that up to collect payments, and then the emails go out for the reminders for your sessions, whatever they might be.
So, Ira, did you get that website there?
Yes, I wrote it down. Thank you so much.
Cool. Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Good advertisements. I love yours, Stephanie. I love yours, Carolyn. I love yours, Ira. Wonderful stuff. So the next part, we'll go ahead and move on to actually what the class today is about. So the topic, once again, was Introduction to Course Creation, advertising, marketing, and social media. So the next step after we've created the advertisement, which is the fuel for all these next steps, is going to be setting up an account. And Stephanie already did that. So kudos to you, Stephanie. We're rocking along there, thinking ahead. So set up an account with Coach with PhD. And if there's any questions in that process, Kurt is definitely the one to talk to. If Carolyn, if you, or Ira, if you guys need, whenever you're ready to do that. And really, that's part of the homework that we'll have today, is to set up an account with Coach with PhD. And so if you guys have any problems with that or any questions, definitely contact me. I'll refer you to Kurt, or you can contact Kurt directly if you know his information. Kurt, do you have any thoughts about that you can share, just making them see in their minds as simply as possible what that process is like? Just a little blurb of that.
Sure. So I would say, first of all, once you get your account created, your best friend will be, and I'm putting the link to create an account in right now. They'll take you right to the account creation. Your best friend will be the help feature. There's a help tool in there that you can go into and you can ask your questions, and you'll be able to get your answers to it. But really, Brian, if you want, I could show them what it looks like once they have their account created real quick.
Sure, if you think that'd be helpful, yeah.
Or you know what? I think I have a document on this whole process. I can send it to you, Brian, and then you can send it to everybody.
Perfect.
Okay, let's do that.
Cool one. Awesome. And if anyone has any further questions on the account setup process, then I think we can talk about more of that at the end too.
Yeah, and anybody can feel free to email me if they have issues. We recently upgraded the platform, so the sign-up features are not 100%. Everything else is fine, but for some reason, it doesn't really matter. There's some stuff in the background that kind of broke when I upgraded the software, but I can put everybody in the system. So if I have to do it manually, that's just fine too.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Cool. So after you have your advertisement, that's going to be one of the next steps that you want, is a place to be able to put it. And I mean, that's why we're talking about Coach with PhD and that setting up an account there, because you'll want to, after you set up the account, then you'll want to create your event, just like Stephanie showed us earlier. And after you get that event created, and we're not going into details into that part because that's kind of a separate thing that myself or Kurt can help work you through. And it's a quick, easy process, really. And it's even pretty self-explanatory. You can figure it out on your own pretty well, too. So really what the focus of this class was going to be is how to get those people, how to get new customers, how to get new students, how to get new clients. And the primary focus for doing this, for this class, is going to be social media. So Facebook is a remarkable platform because everyone has it and everyone uses it and everyone is on that one. Some of the other platforms is slightly more niche for other people, but Facebook is one that's pretty dang universal across the entire globe. So that will be the focus of this class, is how to use Facebook to engage with people and draw more people for your event, for your service that you offer, that you already have posted on Coach with PhD. Now we need to get people to that. So the first step is an interesting first step. You wouldn't perhaps think that this would be the first step, but the very first step is to become a member of many Facebook groups that are related to your class. So write that down. Become a member of many Facebook groups that are related to your class. Whenever you join these different Facebook groups, they'll ask you a couple questions if you're not familiar with that process is, in order to make sure that you're an actual human. So if you don't have Facebook groups, you're limited to just the direct friends that you have. But now all of a sudden, when you start joining groups, it changes the dynamic a little. And it's not just more people in the world either. It is warm leads, you could call them. They're all potentially interested because you are joining Facebook groups that are related to your class subject. So this is key. So search for and find as many Facebook groups as possible that's related to your class. That's the next step. And then you create your Facebook event. So creating a Facebook event is pretty simple and pretty straightforward. I think the only complication I've ever ran into is accidentally making it private when I wanted it public. And so, less people find it whenever it's set for private. But Facebook has a really streamlined method for creating that Facebook event, and it probably takes about 10 minutes. So that would be the next step. So write that one down. That's the second thing to write down. Create a Facebook event. Now is where some of the magic starts to happen. And so whenever you have your Facebook event, you'll want to do two things mainly. After you got your event, you'll want to click the invite button and invite as many people as it will let you. And it usually lets you invite only 50 people at first. And then I haven't quite understood why it jumps up, but after a couple times, it'll jump up to 500. Maybe if you didn't have anyone, like say that you're doing things inappropriately or something, no one flagged you or something, I'm not really sure, but it jumps up to 500. Now all of a sudden you can invite 500 just through the invite method. And so there are also some other tools on there too. You can share 25, you can share on your friends' timelines 25 times within a certain amount of hours. I think it's like every 6 hours or something, and you can share another 25. That's a pretty awesome feature. If you don't mind, if you have it in your mind to consistently share on your friends' timelines, because now all of a sudden you're not just inviting one person, you're inviting that person and anyone who might happen to see their page. So share on a friend's timeline I've found to be pretty effective. And then we have, so those are the couple main things that you can do after you get your Facebook posting there. Those are the two main ways that I use that Facebook event to advertise, the Facebook event itself to advertise. So that's a direct way of advertising. And then you'll also want to post it onto your page primarily so it's easy to find. If you're talking to anyone about the event and they search for your name, then whether it's your business name or your personal name, then you'll want to make sure that it's on your page so they can find it easy, and also so you can find it easy too and share it with anyone. I mean, you can search for the name of your event to find it, but I found it to be helpful to make sure there's always a relevant new posting of it on your own page.
Ryan, it's so important to have that bio link so that it's the first thing when people click on, as they land right on it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Instagram,
Absolutely.
landing page. Yeah, it's so frustrating when you're trying to find an event and it's like
Yeah. Yep. And so you want it to be as easy as possible, both for yourself and for other people. And so the next thing, and this is where the Facebook groups comes in, guys. That very first thing that we wrote down, getting accepted into Facebook groups. The very next thing is you're going to post that event that you created in all of those related Facebook groups. Now here's the thing, is some of them don't want it, and whenever you send it to them, they'll let you know, and they're usually pretty nice about it, or they just deny it, which is fine too. But a lot of them let your content that's related to their website be posted in front of their thousands of members who are all interested in this kind of stuff. They let it, and I'll even the posting goes in there, the event, your Facebook event posting goes in there, and then you can write some little things about it. And I usually say some really grateful words, like how grateful I am for this group and I appreciate them so much, so I wanted to share something that means a lot to me, or just come from the heart. And or whatever approach you use, make it relevant to their particular group and posted it in there. And then this is where the real good stuff starts to happen. Is there's so much energy and movement that can happen in those Facebook groups because they're all people who are interested in this Facebook event that you posted in there. They're all people who are interested in this topic that you have, in this class that you're creating, and in the service that you're providing. And so it's all warm leads. None of them are going to be cold. And so what you'll do then is anyone who likes, comments, shares anything on your posting, this is your opportunity to engage with a warm lead. So every single person who likes it, you'll want to engage with them by opening up a open-ended conversation. You could say like, hey, I noticed you liked my posting on whatever Facebook group that it's called. Just what about it was appealing to you, or what was it interesting, or what do you like about these? What's your favorite thing about these topics? So you can have it real open-ended like that, or you can just say, hey, I noticed that you post this here. Would you be interested in coming to class? You can just do it direct like that too, but you always want to make sure that you build that bridge. You let them know what the bridge is, why you're even messaging them out of the blue. They need to know where you came from, and where you came from is the posting that they liked, commented on, or shared. So this is a huge way to begin to build relationships with people. It's all about building new relationships on a subject matter that is of interest to them. Does that make sense? That's a pretty important one. Engagement, engagement, engagement. And I really only spend about an hour, maybe every other day doing this. You don't need to spend a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of time to do this. Like that's where I met Carolyn. Carolyn came to this class, and that's how I know her. And the Amy that I told you guys about, that's how she has come too. Ira, I know her from something else, but you just engage with interested people. Any thoughts or questions about that?
I was going to say what has helped me in the past is to go ahead and put a calendar together, meaning like, because it takes an hour to plan out an entire month of topics to post to your groups about, right? And then that way, because for me, to be like coming up with the creative idea of what I want to talk about, and then deciding which groups to put it in, that can be 20 minutes of my day every day. You know, if I'm doing it that way every day, or if I get ahead of myself and I say, okay, this is what I'm, on the first of the month, I'm just going to put the calendar together. And that's my work for the day. Calendar goes together. And then on the second, whatever I put together, like I've already thought it out. I've already put it in place. And I even use my Google Calendar to book out the times. Like my Google Calendar is a hot mess when you look at it because there's all these different things going on. But it's like, Kurt goes to this group. Kurt,
Cool.
Yeah. So it just, for me, it helps because when I have the little tasks lined up, I feel super great about myself.
Right.
I'm like, hey, look at me. I did everything I said I was going to do. It was 4 emails, but I did it.
Carolyn, I'm wondering about you. Did that make sense to you, this process of posting things in order to have opportunity to engage and all the different times that you can engage, all the different ways?
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I was asking you about if there was any legal crap I needed to watch out for, because I am already a member of, it's not necessarily related to the class itself, but related to other things, but they still might be interested,
Yeah. What do you mean legal? What do you mean legal stuff?
I'm part of a couple of vision impaired support groups, for example, that are global.
Okay. Do you have some sort of a non-compete in your contract? Is that what you're worried about?
I don't have a clue. Like,
Okay.
I don't know. Do you have to worry about county lines with this? I don't know.
Well, so it depends upon, So here's the way telehealth works right now. Right now you're in a sweet spot for telehealth because basically all restrictions on telehealth have been lifted. They got lifted like 4 or 5 months ago.
Tell me more. Are you serious?
Yeah, but it's not going to stay that way. It's not going to stay that way.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But at the moment, it's kind of shifting.
Yes, because of what's going on in terms of support. But here's the thing. When it comes to, and keep in mind, I'm not an attorney, and so I've been relaying what my attorneys have explained to me. This is not like actual legal advice. Okay. In fact, I mean, not to be totally, but this is not legal. I need it into the chat. Okay, I think I misspelled legal, which makes it super, yeah. Right. Okay, now, is that anyone can bill for services. Anyone can bill for support. And where you are located does not, as long as you are credentialed in the location you are located, where people come from to you right now is not an issue. It probably will be again, but as of right now, it is not. And there's a really good chance that they won't go back to saying that you have to reside in the same location you have to be licensed in the same location as your patient. Because in a practical sense, let's say my wife has a patient who's in Delaware who chips a tooth, right? Well, they can call my wife up back in St. Louis, Missouri, and she can prescribe them medications, and it's just fine. So what's going to happen is you're going to have patients of record that you've accumulated during this time period. This is the problem I see going forward. You'll have patients of record that you accumulate during this time period from all over the planet, potentially. And then all of a sudden they're going to say, well, okay, now you can't see this person anymore because of, we're going to go back to the old rules. But the old rules say that if they're a patient of record, that you can actually administer treatment to them. So it'll be interesting to see how they deal with it. Long story short, if you're not billing insurance companies, it's not an issue. If you're not saying that what you're doing is therapy or treatment, right? Then as long as you stay within the realm of support, and as long as any information you handle, you treat it as if it's HIPAA-related information, you should be in the clear.
What do you think about that, Carolyn? How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Cool. All right.
And again, not a lawyer. This was not legal advice.
Great. So yeah, I think that's exactly right. And Carolyn, I think that when you move through this process and get your account set up and the class posted on there, or is yours going to be more one-on-one basis, or is it a class that you're doing?
It's a class, and the way that I see it working out, at least for the first little bit, it's going to be mostly instructional stuff. I mean,
Right.
They can ask questions at the end of it, but as far as that going through the exercises itself, I'm probably going to have everybody on mute for that.
Yeah, I think you'll be totally fine with that format. There's nothing.
And
yeah.
Like I said before, I've got Facebook, I've got Twitter, and I even know how to do events on LinkedIn as well.
Cool. Carolyn, cool. And others who this particular part will be the focus for, you're wanting people. We're needing more people. And so we have to be reaching out to these interested people, which is why we have the Facebook groups that we're a part of and why we're posting our listing in the Facebook group. And which is why we're interacting with anyone who has indicated anything at all on your posting. And so this is more of the direct ways of, and the ways that definitely should be taken advantage of. I think that, I have had a lot of success with finding interested people. I'm even developing relationships with people in other countries, like the United Kingdom, for instance. I meet with someone who is helping to find me people, and then I'm helping to find them people. And so you begin to build these relationships with people who benefit you, and you benefit them. And so it's important to engage with all the people who are interested, because you never know who's also looking to do something that you're offering, or who's offering something similar but in another country, and so you guys can support each other in some kind of way. So you never know who's out there ready to be a perfect match for you, and so engage with these people as much as possible. That's the point. And then furthermore, we have a few other ways that are more indirect. The ways that we just covered are the most direct ways and should definitely be taken advantage of. And then there's some more that are a little more indirect. And those ways are things like you can post like maybe a tip to relax, like Carolyn, for you on Facebook. And then once again, engage with anyone who likes, shares, or comments on that tip that you gave. And then the end result is the conversation leads to, well, I've got this class on how to relax. And so any kind of way, so that's a more of an indirect way, where the posting itself wasn't your class, but it's this post on a tip that you gave. Or it could be you could even post a kind of pose a question to your community. Post a question on Facebook of like, what do you guys think of this? And goodness, people on Facebook love to respond to a question, and especially if that question's at all related to something that relaxing, or all related to energy work, or at all related to workout, or whatever it is that you're doing, then the conversations can always roll to the class that you're creating. And so I can't tell you how many people, everything on Facebook that you do can roll to the class that you're creating. All the conversations do. And so look for opportunities to engage, and don't hesitate in the engagement. There are people out there who are wanting your service, and you're engaging with already warm leads. So definitely keep engaging. And then also you can even post a video that you created, or you can post even just someone else's video that's related to your topic. Once again, this can stir up people's responses. And in regard, though, to you creating your own video, after you have your first class, for instance, you can record the class, which I record all of mine, and then you can take little snippets out, like a 60-second or a 3-minute or a 5-minute little clip, and post that on Facebook to give people an opportunity to see what it is, a simple, short, easy opportunity to see what your experience would be like in your class. And so because people don't know what the heck you're doing, and they don't know you from Joe Bob over here, so you have to give yourself out there in some kind of ways, whether it's the free class, like I often will usually have a free class at first, or whether it's the little soundbite 3-minute video clip. They have to know, have an idea of what you are before they're willing to commit money to you. And so these are some other ways to stimulate and drum up some engagement with people and building trust, because that above everything else is what this engaging with people is about. And I want everyone to even write that down if they're willing, which is they're creating.
Our world is so trusting at the moment, aren't they?
You're creating a heartbeat that builds trust. Yeah, creating a heartbeat that builds trust. So you're posting on a regular basis. You're even posting videos of yourself, perhaps. You can even do Facebook Live, little blips, whatever it is that people see you on a regular basis. And after they finally see you like 1 billion times, they're like, oh yeah, so this guy's legit. This is what he's really doing here. Well, I've seen that 1 billion times. Maybe I should click on it this time. And so it takes that to build trust. I've done sales in a lot of different ways. And whenever you first walk into a business in order to offer them what you're selling, they don't want it the first time. They don't want it the second time. But then after a few times of going in there, then they start to recognize you, and they see that you are reliable, and that you will be there, and that you will continue to be there. And so that's how trust is built. And we're doing it a similar way, but online. And so we're And so the trust is done in different ways with the videos, or the trust is done with the little tips or comments, or whatever ways that you're continuing to put a heartbeat out there to where you are seen. And then once again, engage with everyone who interacts with that heartbeat. Any thoughts about that part, guys? There's one more thing I want to say after that. Okay, the last thing is, and this is the most important of all that. This is the most important of all that. If you don't do this part, then it gets really confusing. And so what you'll want to do is every time you get on Facebook to start engaging in this way, you'll want to have your notebook beside you, because you'll want to keep a list of those names and what social media platform they came from, who are interested, who you are engaging with. And so it's not, you don't like write down everyone's name. Oh, like Joe Bob liked this tip I gave. You don't write down his name. But if you engage with Joe Bob and start a conversation and he literally expresses interest in your class, then you certainly write down Joe Bob's name. And if you don't, then stuff gets lost really quickly. And amongst the 100 other people that you interacted with, whenever it comes time to actually reminding him of the class, he's lost in the 100 other people that you had to message with on Facebook. And so you need to have those people.
How many
quick
of those conversations have you had like yesterday? Like if you check your messenger, how many heart connections can you really count? I can only count. I have Layla, Ryan, Miles, Dr. Laura, and Malik. So I keep it tight. There's no way I'm going to let the floodgates open on this. So you probably get a lot more messages, right?
I receive a massive amount of messages because I message a massive amount of people. And so this is how that you can have classes of...
So what do you do to send it? Because it's very important to me that I keep my notifications down. I don't know if you can see it. I see myself. So right now my email's at 90 and I'm triggered because I use Unroll Me to, put it all into...
What do you mean you're triggered? It's upsetting? Is that what you mean? What do you mean you're triggered? It's upsetting to have so many emails that are unread?
I feel like I'm missing... So what I do is I just sort it. So I'm now sorting my emails and I'll be present at that moment. So if I'm with Connections Academy, I only have open the Connections Academy email. And then if I'm having family time, I only open up my Hotmail.
Right.
If I'm having Time to Be Joyful Education Network Super Dog, then I can open up a very scary email.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming.
I want to get the good ones close to me.
It can be overwhelming, and so I limit the amount of time that I spend on it every day, whether it's just an hour a day or even an hour every other day. And then I don't touch that thing on all the other parts of my days because it can get away from itself for sure.
And tell family, please text me if you send me something important. Because I hate that when I'm going through 90 emails and it's like, oh.
Totally. But these are important people. There are people who are there are people who not only you're going to be able to help, but people who are wanting to potentially pay you. So you can't look at these people like
that you use to sort.
You can't look at these people like they're bothering you, because really that's exactly who you're wanting. Now you might be different though, Stephanie, because you have a resource of 9,000 people and you're not really looking for more people. But for most of us, we don't have that wonderful luxury.
It's coming.
Cool. Right.
So we just keep being us and can have all the structures in place so that we don't get the fire hose in the face of pure love, because that's what we're surrounded by.
Right.
We're so loved and supportive.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. You just got to look around and find it. So,
I'll make a suggestion for an email tool. It's called MixMax. MixMax.
Yeah.
Everything else, there's a free version that's really pretty good, and then there is a paid-for version. But one of the things that it does is it helps track your emails, Stephanie. It helps sort, tag. It does a lot of things. It helps, like, if you've ever scheduled an appointment with me, you've used MixMax.
Cool.
So it's a great little plug-in for helping you organize your time and who has access to you when. So you integrate it with your calendar, and it's a great tool for that. So
Thank you, because I've always held that fear of, well, I already have two jobs. You know, I was working in Laguna Beach, I was working in San Clemente, I was online 7 hours a day, I was doing my master's degree, and I was like, I want to be a mom to my daughter. So now that we're online,
Yeah.
we can make more magic happen now that we have Mix to help us.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
That might be helpful. Okay, so this is the homework. This is the takeaway. The homework this week, and Stephanie's done some of it already, but if you're ready to write down, there's a few different points that summarize this whole class really well. And so the first one is going to be to set up an account with Coach with PhD, coachwithphd.com. Set up an account, and Kurt put the link to that in the chat box here, and if anyone needs that later, I can send that to them. And if anyone needs help with it, we can definitely help you too. So that's the first one, create an account. And then the second one is create an event on Coach with PhD. And we can lead you through that process too if that is needed. Carolyn, I think this is really the answer to a lot of the stuff you've been trying to figure out answers for. So I look forward to working with you more on this part too. So that was the second one, which is create an event on Coach with PhD. And then the third one is create a Facebook event. That's the third one, create a Facebook event. That one's pretty straightforward. Most people know how to do that. It's obvious too. And then the fourth one, the fourth homework, is join some Facebook groups related to the class you're wanting to teach. Join as many as possible. And then the fifth and last one is engage with anyone who interacts with any of your related content. That's it. That's the 5 things for this week.
Right, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, have you already sent us a doc with all this info?
I have not sent you one.
But you have one, or are we creating it as we go?
I can definitely, you're creating it as you go, and I want everyone to have all the tools to succeed possible, so I usually create something later and send it to my students. All right. Carolyn or Stephanie or anyone, if you guys have any questions throughout this week at all, please let me know what the questions are. I'd be more than happy to. I think I already told you, Stephanie, we're gonna meet. We're gonna meet later. Carolyn too. In this process, I'll be more than happy to flush things out with you too. All right, you guys. Kurt, any parting words for us?
No. Go ahead, get in, make your account. Use all lowercase letters in your password. For some reason, that's something new in the software, but that's how it is. But so you use your password, make your account all lowercase. If you have any issues, you can email me directly, and I will get your account set up. I'm gonna put my email in there.
By the way, it's free to make this account. Once again, just so everyone knows.
Account, never. Well, I shouldn't say that. If you start making money, then there's a charge, but it's 10%. So that's, I think we talked about this last time.
Yep.
So if you don't make any money, you don't do any paid for events, you don't pay me. It's really, again, it's all about people getting paid for what they do.
Right.
And that's in such alignment with tithing, because I was practicing the art of tithing, and I gave Layla a little bit of money and said, I love you. And she bought my daughter's artwork in a mug. And she said, I love you more. And so
Cool.
it's like, we just go back and forth, boom, love bombing it, bigger and bigger. So I love the art of tithing. And then the 10% is in alignment with everything, Kurt.
Cool.
Thank you for that.
All right, you guys. Carolyn, any parting thoughts or questions from you?
Not sure if it matters that the website still is non-functional, probably will be non-functional for another few weeks.
Facebook is
It
perfect.
doesn't-
Your Facebook group is perfect.
It doesn't matter, Carolyn. I would even look at the Coach with PhD platform that you're creating as your website for now.
Oh, of course.
And you
That's
can
smart.
direct everyone to that. That's all you really need. I don't have a website.
So smart. Let's tell everybody that.
Yep.
Because that has blocked a lot of people. These
Totally.
artists, they hate the websites that they have, and they're like, I never did finish it. It's not me.
Right.
It doesn't represent me. And so that's so perfect. You just
Mhm.
slide in the link.
Carolyn, did that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
Stephanie, have you seen
I-
in individual page?
What?
Have you seen your individual page?
I think
Inside-
so. You want to share your screen and show me exactly which page you're referring to?
I just sent the link to the group for your.
Nice. Okay. Hey, app.com. Where'd you find app.com? Is that part of your system?
Yes, it is.
Nah, you app.com is part of your freaking system. Yeah, this is gonna be so much fun.
So that's your page
So-
there, Stephanie. And you can refer everyone to that. That's not your direct link. I'm sorry, that's not your direct event, but that's your kind of personal page. And you can have multiple. You can have multiple
So
events on there.
that,
For
my
instance,
landing page is my sharing page. Is
Yep.
that what it's called?
it could be, yeah.
Share page.
And then I just posted mine, for instance, which has multiple events on there. So if you're not sure what the exact class that you're referring someone to, just you in general, then you can click on, then you can share then you can have multiple
So
events on there.
good. Thank you. And then what about the black banner? Is that customizable yet?
That is, I did it with a black and white because that's across the entire platform.
That's what we're doing too. We're doing band colors. I'm a part of the purple bear team. So anytime
Cool.
you see a purple Care Bear, think of my team. So, okay, this is so cool. This is like a whole nother conversation that we will have next week, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You're super welcome. Next week will be called Structuring an Engaging Class. And
Yes.
I look forward to seeing your guys' success from next week. All right, you guys.
Um,
Love you tons.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys.
Yeah.